Hi, this is Catherine Wright. I'm coming to you with another real estate for the Wright team at Remax Professionals in beautiful Lawton, Oklahoma. I'm actually recording this on Sunday night before the Monday that I'm going to be doing this. And I came up with today's topic, which is the for sale by owners, because I was looking at a bunch of conversation on Facebook about how to respond to clients best. It was in a private page with a lot of agents on it, and one person put how they had seen somebody had asked them for a valuation, but it said specifically no agents, and it was frustrating because it showed that the person didn't understand what a home valuation is and how they would get it, and it was a for sale by owner, and it just sort of brought up all the things that people really need to understand about what it really means to be for sale by owner, and why you would do that and why you might not want to do that. So that's when I decided I'm doing for sale by owner on my real estate this week, because there's just a lot of information that needs to be discussed. So a couple of years ago or so, they did this study. Inman News reported that they did this study on how much money were for sale by owners actually making. And because one of the first reasons when you talk to a for sale by owner as to why they're doing that is that they're going to make the commission back. Well, one of the things that's historically, even if you look at old reports, new reports, any reports, for sale by owners don't usually make the money. In 2015, in fact, they average making 16% less. And so if you think about then if they had used an agent, so if you think about the fact that an agent's commission is 6%, that's a pretty sizable difference of shooting yourself in the foot for cost. Most of the time, you're not going to make more. And that's just realistic. Now, I like to sort of really look into things and make sure that I'm being accurate and I tell the truth. So I have actually over the years talked to a ton of for sale by owners, and I followed up pretty well to find out what they've done. There have been people who have made money doing for sale by owners, but some of the ones that I've followed behind, they actually had overcharged their buyers by that amount of money. So another problem, so problem number one would be not actually making the money that you think you're making. Problem number two is that you're putting somebody in a really bad position where you're selling the property to them in a way that they won't be able to sell it again. Usually agents will not represent you if they can't, with good conscience, sell your house at the price that you're saying. Some agents they might put a sign in the yard, but a good agent will look at your house and verify if it's worth it. And if it's not, they're not going to represent it, because they have to, number one, invest their own money, and number two, they have to put their name on it. And them putting the sign in the yard means that they believe that that is worth that money, and a good agent won't do that. So sometimes a for sale by owner is actually somebody who's overcharging on the house. So that's another reason not to. The only time that I've advised people to do for sale by owner is when I really can't represent them. When I know that they just don't have the ability to sell the house. And they are insisting that they still need to, then that's really the only option after that. But most of the time, I can get more money for your house than you could on your own, because the buyer usually is looking to save that money as well. So then you have two people just looking to save money, and that doesn't usually go well. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I have actually, and many agents have, represented for sale by owners in the sale of their home when we do bring a buyer. It's not common. And agents are not going to usually show the for sale by owner houses as their top one. So you're going to get the last choice from the agents. Usually, when an agent is putting together a list of houses, they're not going to include yours unless yours is really the best deal for their client, or unless their client had specifically requested to see yours. And in which case they will expect 3% as the commission usually. And so I have done that on several occasions. In fact, about 2 or 3 a year for the last 2 or 3 years. So when I feel like my buyer really does want to buy that house and I know it's represented by a for sale by owner person, I will go up and talk with them and say, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to show the house if they're interested in it. That's when we'll write the contract. And that's when we'll also do the listing, and we'll do sold when listed. And so that's how we handle for sale by owners for selling the property. Most of the time, if I'm calling a for sale by owner, I'm a listing agent. So if I'm calling a for sale by owner, it's to give them the opportunity to interview with me, because only about 7% of for sale by owners actually sell their property by themselves. And so most of them, that means like 93% will list their house once they decide to, like, usually it takes a few months, sometimes it takes a year, once they realize that it's not as nice as it seems. The last thing I wanted to talk about with for sale by owners is the response I get a lot of times when I do call them, and they say, well, I have all these buyers who are coming and seeing my house. I must have had like 3 this week, and they all love it, and so I'm expecting a contract at any time. And I've talked with people months and months and months apart, like maybe once or twice one month, once or twice the next month, and they're giving me the same thing over and over and over again. And what we find out is those people, because they're talking to the owner of the home, they don't want to tell them the truth, that they didn't like perhaps the backyard, perhaps the some mirror wasn't what they wanted, maybe it was the floor plan, something. It could be little, it could be huge. Maybe it's the timing. A lot of times those people are not actually pre-qualified. They're just buyers who are wanting to be buyers. And for sale by owners don't usually pre-qualify or ask for names and numbers. And so they don't have to worry about that as much as if they're talking with an agent, they're going to actually be serious and have to get pre-qualified and go through a whole system. And so they don't want to go through the system yet. They might be 2 years out, but they're not going to tell for sale by owner that. And so they're going to say, we love the house. We're so motivated. We've been wanting to buy forever. Like all these different things. It's not going to be the entire truth. It's not that they're lying. They're just not telling you everything. And so you're holding out hope, and you're making your financial decisions off of hearsay. And that is another problem that I've run into with for sale by owners. And I think it's one of the worst ones. Is you have a tendency, if you are choosing to do for sale by owner route, you're choosing to trust a person off the street who you've never met before you trust a professional who's actually their name is being reviewed by the government before they can get a license in the first place. We're also covered by the realtors. We have a board of realtors that oversees our actions, and we're covered by a brokerage. So you're trusting a person off the street before you trust a professional who's being overseen by 3 different organizations. And so it just doesn't make a lot of sense to do it that way when you know this professional over here is actually going to make sure that person is qualified. They're going to make sure they give me the feedback. They're going to make sure to have strategy sessions with me and make sure the pictures are awesome. They're going to try their best. They're going to put their money where their mouth is. Their money's going to go into the marketing. You want a person like that. You want somebody who's really on your side, an advocate, somebody who believes in being the best. You do not want to just deal with Joe Schmo off the street who's going to say, hey, I want to buy your house, and try to do a contract without really knowing what the repercussions are. So that's my real estate for sale by owners. It's based off of a lot of time talking with for sale by owners, watching how they do, and also helping them to sell their homes. So if you have any questions for us, feel free to reach out to me or Randy at 713-3066. Again, this is Catherine Wright with the Wright team at Remax Professionals in beautiful Lawton, Oklahoma. Our website is lawton-home.com. Have a good day.